I'm going to start out in Genesis 41, and I'm purposely using the translation that all of us are familiar with, so that we can stay in close proximity to what we've heard preached, to what we've heard taught, and this should make it easier for everybody to kind of follow along. Genesis 41, verses 54 through 57. And it says, "And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the dearth," which is another word for famine, "was in all lands. But in the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do." And and that's key, because in 55 you are Joseph. But we'll get there. "And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt." 57, "And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because the famine was so sore in all lands." Now, in times past, I've said, and I'm sure sometimes you get a little weary of hearing it, but I kept trying to encourage us to really get into Torah, really get into his teachings and instructions, not for church religious purposes, but to live by. That we could not only, share a scripture with somebody, but by our actions, by our walk, by our lifestyle, by the decisions that we make, we are in position to help somebody. See, these are the distinctive characteristics of Torah followers. There's a difference between a religious person and someone that tries to execute the teachings and instructions that they understand. And I'm not throwing shade, but I'm saying it is so vitally important we learn how to do, not just recite. Proverbs 23:23. This is key. Listen to this. It says, "Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding." See, and again, I'm not throwing shade, but Christianity encourages us to memorize scriptures, to stand before people and impress them because we can recite it. But if you're not doing it, you don't know it. A minor bird can say what you say if you say it enough around them. But does the minor bird actually comprehend what it's saying? You don't want to be a minor bird. Another scripture, it says something like, Be more than a hearer, be a doer. Be a doer, be a doer, not a repeater so much so. But because of the way all of us came up, it's like, hey, man, get up there. You know, even in our educational system, same stuff. You may have thought your professor or your teacher was an idiot, but you did know that you had whatever that stuff was that they were teaching, you maintained it long enough to write it down so you could get out of there. And then when you got into the workforce, you realize a large portion of that stuff is not helping you. And I'm going to go back to that a little later because that too is part of marketing and advertising that has gotten a lot of us in more debt. And God help us if you're paying off your debt and there's a temporary break in your employment situation. In verse 41, it says that the famine had come upon the land. Well, prior to that, it was 7 good years, and I mean, everybody was living large. And I'm not saying that we're in a 7-year famine. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that just a few years ago, you didn't have to go to work. You was getting stimulus check. And some people were making more from the stimulus check, plus I think other people were getting some extra something. I mean, people were getting high. I mean, everybody was living large. Some people discovered, you know, if I don't have to get up and drive in traffic, I can get more done. And some companies say, hey, this is not a bad thing. Initially. And I even said, hey, if you get a stimulus check, get it, do something with it. And I said, I also said, and again, I'm not saying this like I'm not trying to project to you that I have some deep understanding. I'm watching the sky like everybody else. But I do try to, as best I can, forecast not only for myself, but for those that I love, which you fall in that category. So I know a lot of times, you know, and sometimes some well-meaning people, as soon as you use words like be careful, be cautious, oh, he's teaching fear, he's preaching fear. Shut up. I'm not. We need to be informed about what's really going on around us because we've been taught to live in such a world where a lot of us, and this is my term, a lot of us live Mary Poppins existence. We think Yah is going to take care of everything. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he won't. But he's looking for us to do some things as well. What did he just say? He said, listen. He said, buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. Mm, mm, mm. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph has said, and the dearth was in all lands. And you know, even when, and again, the pandemic thing or whatever we want to call it, all of that's tied into this. I don't know why believers didn't start waking up when things affect the whole earth. You know that's got to be Yah. Where was our wisdom? We allowed politicians and other situations to dictate I want to be careful because I do get emotional. Things did not have to go the way they went. We were destroyed, and we suffered loss because there was a lack of knowledge and wisdom. And some of us knew better. Some spoke up. But because of the training we received, we listened to some others. And some of us suffered serious loss. But lean times don't last forever. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. And it says, and when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph. And I've been saying for the EWC faithful, carry yourself in such a way that you can help somebody else. I said, people are going to be coming to you, and they're still coming. And you say, well, Barry, you know, there's not a famine like it was there. No, it's not, but it's a type and shadow. Everything's still going up. Gas was a little while, it was $2.99 for 87 octane. Now, out where I live, it's $3.29. We also heard in the coming days, we heard, for those, I follow a lot of the finance stuff, and I've even said to people, hey, do some research on your bank. I'm saying that for a reason. Because the banks and the education system, I'm not going to say much now because we're streaming, but there's some things I'd like to share. Folks, let's not fall for the okie doke. I'm not against education. I'm not against education. Pastor Green was not against education. But I think I can show you how some of this stuff is tied in, and it's all tied in to get into your wallet. The days of us seeing a item and purchasing it, paying it off, might be gone. The whole system may go down to what can you afford a month? Might. Didn't say it was. I don't know. I'm not trying to make you think I know. I don't know. It says, and when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried unto Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he saith to you do. Now, you know, Pharaoh was all, y'all know I played Pharaoh. And, you know, I know a lot of people felt he's the perfect Pharaoh because he's an arrogant something. I'm really not, but I can understand why you might think that way. That's all right. Pharaoh knew he was the man, but I tell you what, when Joseph was able to do the dream thing, and Joseph was able to break stuff down, Pharaoh realized, I need that guy. And see, y'all had the whole thing set up for it to go the way that it went. And you said, but Barry, earlier you said we was Joseph. We are Joseph. Those that are trying to live by y'all's teachings and instructions, you're the Joseph for today. Might be friends, might be family, might be second cousins. You know, your Aunt Lula may call you, and you ain't heard from her in years. Pick up the phone. Give a listen. Don't try to do it all yourself. If it's too big a thing, get some help. I'm not saying you got to do it yourself. And another thing, please, folks, because most of you have very good hearts, good intentions. We could brush up a little bit more on discernment because, see, some folks is looking to scam. Well, Barry, are you saying that so that you trying to tell us on this slide, don't help people? No, I'm not. But that's where what you studied, the Torah that you've studied and the Torah that you've been practicing, the instructions and the teachings, that's what you need to lean on. Because everybody that need help and that come to you, you may be surprised. Yah himself may direct you, give an ear, be polite, but keep it moving. And then some situations, oh yeah, I know in my own life, I've had situations like that. Full transparency, I get agitated sometimes because when I'm out and about, I'm out with a purpose. And I don't mean, I've set my face like a flint. I ain't talking like that. That's church talk. I'm talking real life, folks. When I'm out and I'm taking care of business, what I left my home for, that's what I want to accomplish. And I want to get it accomplished and get back home as quickly and safely as I can. Every day. So if somebody approach me, and particularly when I don't know you, my defenses are up immediately. Now, some of the people on Wednesday said, well, I need to kind of soften that a little bit. And I said, I will take that into consideration. And what they spoke of was of a truth. However, if Joseph had just said, well, the people are hungry, open up the storage bins and just let them take what they want, they would have been fed for that one instance. But there are other days coming. This is why I'm saying, even when someone comes to you for help, count the cost first. Don't just blindly, oh yeah, well I heard in preacher say, yeah, I'm here. I got your answer. Nah, wait a minute. All of it may not be for you to do. See, y'all could be having a situation where maybe you and somebody else maybe had a little blow up about something, and somebody came to you, and y'all would use that situation where say, hey, get Peter, and you and Peter help out Barry. Well, man, me and Peter don't exactly get along. Get Peter, and you and Peter help Barry. See, if everybody's following Torah, everybody's got their ear low to the ground for the teachings and the instructions, once we tell God how we feel about the person, which he hears what he want to hear, but he said what he said and he meant what he said. He already knew you and Peter didn't get along. But right now, he's going to use you and Peter to help Barry. And in the midst of helping Barry, you and Peter might realize, he ain't such a jackass. That's not a bad word. See, folks, what I'm saying is, in doing Torah, in doing the teachings and instructions, you find out a whole lot about yourself and the people that you're administering to, and the people that are standing on the side judging. See, because some people, when you do an act of cassette, some people think you just showing off. But that's showing you where they are. But you can't let that stop you. And it says here, after Pharaoh told him, you do what he said. I'm just paraphrasing. And it said, and the famine was over all the face of the earth. Every economic system on the face of the earth that's worth anything. Now, if it's a small country and they ain't got $100 between all of them, this might not be affecting them that much. But all the major economic systems getting slapped around like you wouldn't believe. We talk about one country, and then if you stay in the thing long enough, the United States has the least ugly house on the block. But that's nothing for us to be proud about. All the houses still ugly. See, everybody got an ugly house. We just happen to have the least ugly. So that's nothing to get all puffed up about. We're all in trouble. And there's no need of one country talking about the other. You know, we've had a lot of negative talk about some nations. I don't want to get into all of that because I'm not trying to make this political, although politics is tied up in all of this, but not politics alone. And the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened up all the storehouses and sold. He sold it. Now, wait a minute, Bird. Wait a minute. Joseph was just supposed to give it to him. That's how most of us have been trained. I just thought about something that one of our brothers said about his wife. Basically, I mean, she got a good heart. But he said, Lord have mercy, if I don't put a stop on it, she'll give away everything. We ain't gonna call no names. But those that were there, you know. And let me say this too. I'm not throwing shade. A good heart is a blessing. But sometimes, man, we get to where we just we'll empty our storehouse. No, don't do that. Because, see, somebody else going to need some help later. Don't unload on that. And see, unfortunately, there's a chance that person, because they got to laughing at me because I learned something. I'm a sucker when I see a family in a grocery store parking lot. That just melt me as ornery as you think I am. I can't stand that. I can't. I look in that man's face and I'm like, my God, he must be suffering, because I just can't fathom any man. Well, but the forum informed me, said, listen. They started asking questions, and I was like, what? I didn't know. In other words, folks, I went straight to my bleeding heart. I got in my pocket, got a water can, and I shouldn't have done that. I mean, you want to help, but count the cost. I might have had some big bills in that too, and I probably did. I wanted to help, but that was like bringing a bazooka to just kill a fly. It don't call for all of that. See, we got to be strategic even in helping. That's where wisdom comes in. How much assistance? See, because even in helping, even help from Yah, he requires something of us. And see, once people realize that about believers, that's who they're looking for. We've had people come in here. They won't come into the service. They come to get some money. I've had people, we're a little better at that now, but people come out and I don't know you. I'm not saying don't help. I'm saying be wise in all of what you do. Be like Joseph. And Joseph opened up all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. He sold. So sometimes, say, well, why would he sell? Well, because he was also giving the people an opportunity to help themselves. Now, I think, this is just my exegesis of the scriptures. The reason why they put soul in there is because even back in the days of Joseph, there is no free lunch. Never has been, folks. Even though it didn't cost you anything, it cost somebody something. See, those stimulus checks, now you got to pay taxes on it. Now, hey, if you got them, I hope you use them, and I hope you use them in good health. I know some people still got theirs. I know some people probably don't know where it went, unless they wrote it in that book that somebody gave you. See, here's another confession. All of what I've been doing is tied in with this. It's tied in with what I've been kind of forecasting. And I hope I'm wrong. But how can I say I love you and see possible trouble coming and say, oh, praise the Lord. Oh, Greg, so-and-so and so-and-so in town. Let's go see him. Nothing wrong with that. But if I see clouds coming, what kind of real friend am I? That's not even being a good friend. I'm not even talking about church member, just a good friend. And let me share this with you also about friendship. I'm not talking about bosom buddy friends. I'm talking about just everyday friendship. You ought to care enough about that person, not that you know every single thing about their personal lives. No. But that you got enough love in your heart that you want every day to be a good day for them, although we know every day ain't going to be a good day. But in order for trust and y'all's kind of love to cultivate through here, we really got to start looking out for one another. And make how are you doing more than just something that our parents taught us to ask. When you ask it, mean it. And if you're asked it, tell them. If it's a good day, say it's a good day. If it's a tough day, say it's a tough day. Now, you might not want to go into all of why it is, depending on the warmth in the relationship or in the interaction. And then it said, and all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because there was the famine, that the famine was so sore in all lands. It was everywhere. I remember in some financial circles, they were saying cash is trash, cash is trash. And some of them same people that were saying cash is trash, now they saying, no, stash your cash. And I don't know if you remember, but I said some time ago, I said, hey, keep something in your home. And I meant that. And I still mean that. And I still hope that you're keeping a tab on your discretionary spending. I'm not saying don't buy anything, but I'm saying know where your money's going. Because government, which is made up of all parties, not just the party that wins, as they like to say, wins the White House. If things are bad, they are all responsible. The winning party and the losing party. We got to stop falling for the okie doke. And we've already said, or at least it's been stated here, we're not going to get mad at somebody because they voted one way or another, or they didn't vote. We're not going to do that. We're going to let the non-Torah followers, let them argue about all of that. We're going to look out for each other. Oh, boy. I really want to be careful, though. I really do. Let me go a little further. Now, when Jacob, now this is about Joseph and his brothers, too. This is about Joseph and his brothers. And we all know the story. Joseph was a dreamer. And Joseph had a lot of dreams. And Jacob and most parents, I do believe parents have favorites, but a wise parent will never divulge who the favorite is. That way all of us can think we were always the favorite. But Jacob made no bones about it. He loved all his sons, but something about Joseph just really, probably, because he had him in his old age, but. And that kind of stirred that they already had sibling rivalry, especially among boys. But I've come to find out girls have that too. But, we ain't here to talk about that today. Lord knows. But we know that Joseph's brothers, sold him into slavery. We know that Joseph, sometimes, saints, when Yah is really blessing you and you want to get up and you want to testify, again, nothing wrong with that, but somebody in the audience might think, oh, they just bragging. They just bragging. But isn't that what we do on social media? We go on vacation. We can't even enjoy the vacation because we doing selfies and, I'm like, oh my God, this is me going into the restaurant. And I'm not knocking that or making fun of it, but enjoy. Hey, you worked all year. Go enjoy it. Yeah. And more and more people are beginning to realize a lot of what is on social media is fabricated. They pumping it up. I told you they have stages where you can sit behind a cardboard exhibit and it'll look like you in first class. Now, you rode the bus to Los Angeles, but you want everybody to think you flew first class. And so you do that. Hey, and it looks real. It looks real. And then think about this. You go on vacation, and depending on where you go, maybe you stay 2 weeks. But some people have you think, oh, I took a month off. No, you didn't. How do I know? Because your lights still come on. You still driving your car, which means you paid that note. I shared with you, things are going by way of, they want to subscribe everything to you. I told you about this automaker. You buy that car, and the car costs, and probably the base model is 70 grand. And then if you want your heated seats, they got it in there, but you got to pay a subscription fee to have it activated. You own the car. We got to watch out, folks. It says, now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, why do ye look one upon another? And he said, behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither and buy for us from thence. In other words, Get on down there and get us some corn that we may live and not die. Remember about them lepers? And one of them said, man, why sit here till we die? See, again, Yah will help you help yourself. Let me say that again. Yah will help you help yourself. Even, and Pop used to always say, he always used to talk about the paraclete, but it was one called alongside to help or assist, which means in an assist, you got a part to play too. Even in basketball. You get an assist, you helped him score. Well, it's the same thing in the kingdom. Yeah, he got blessings for you, but he wants that assist. But we've been taught, oh, don't worry about it. Just wait on God. He's going to do it all for you. You got 10 notices in the mail telling us, well, God going to take care of it. If you've been summoned to court, you better get to court and take your checkbook. See, too much Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. That type of teaching and preaching has not done us well. That's the nicest way I know how to put it. And man, you keep sitting under that kind of stuff, and you're the very type of person can ride by in your car, see somebody struggling, and don't even feel a tinge to help them. I'm not going to put them in my car. I drive a whatever. Besides, I got my good clothes on today, and I think I look good. See, but a Torah follower, they don't think that way. They don't think like that. And if they do, they repent because they know that stinks. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he said, lest peradventure mischief befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Canaan. We know who is in Canaan. Everybody got a tan in Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he said it was that sold to all people of the land, and Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And remember now, that scene, Joseph told them in a dream that one day, y'all gonna have to bow before me, and that really made them mad. Now, again, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not fit to wear Joseph's shoelaces, but I will say this, saints. I will say this, Torah followers. I will say this, Torah doers. Learn how to temper some of your blessings. You don't have to go full bore with it because it will irritate somebody that's not doing quite as well. See, you got to learn how to read or take the temperature of the person you're talking to. Sometimes, people that speak all the time, they read the room. And it irritated his brothers because that was just one dream. He had a whole lot of dreams. And see, sometimes, particularly if you're getting ready to go in business, don't tell everybody. And we, because we tend to be real good-hearted people, we talk too much. We tell people exactly what they need to know to harpoon what we trying to do. And then we wonder, well, why did God let that happen? He didn't. You did. We did. Sometimes if you're going to do a thing, even when it's a good thing, mum's the word. Don't talk about it, be about it. See, because those that's going to have an objection, too late. And see, if you got which I do, I always have a problem with an obstructionist, which is why I don't ask. Because some people will try to talk you out of it. And I'm like, look, man, bruh, if you ain't got the heart for it, okay, cool. But don't be an obstructionist with me, because at that point, you're either with me or against me. I'm not giving you no middle ground. I don't want to hear whatever your thinking is on the matter. You've already told me where you coming from. Okay, fine. Get out the way. Please. Because anything you do at that point, you're in opposition to me. Now, maybe that's something I need to work on, but for where I am and the times it is, I'm going to continue to carry things that way until Yah said, Barry, you need to lighten up on that. I've seen too many people with good hearts, 1,000% committed. For what? For kind of, sort of? Kind of, sort of don't get it. You either committed or you're not. And if you're not, okay. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And he it was that sold to all the people of the land. In other words, Joseph was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna help you, but I'm gonna help you. He didn't just give it all out. I think I shared Wednesday about that young man that he goes around. In fact, after he went to Atlanta, I think he said he was going to stop reviewing restaurants because they really didn't treat him well down there. And this guy was going in there, bringing you business and leaving big tips. And people had a problem with that. That's what I'm telling you. This is why I'm saying, don't always say what you're doing. Because somebody, for whatever reason, you ain't asked them for one coin. Why they got to put their mouth on it? Because social media makes everybody think their opinion matters, and it doesn't. Make a long story short, he went to a food truck. And I think he went to 2 or 3 other places of business in this place, and he left a $4,000 tip. Did you hear what I said? See, he wasn't just flexing. Now, he could have went in there and just ordered a sandwich or whatever, and maybe just give them the price of the sandwich, double that. That would have been nice. But he left a $4,000 tip, and he gave instructions to the person, share this with the other vendors, so that everybody would have a good day. That's not what happened. It's all on the internet. That person took it upon themselves to determine none of the other vendors deserved part of that tip. How selfish and how self-centered and how full of ourselves are we that we could make that kind of determination? Lord, bless me and nobody else. Really? I don't know how it ended up, but it got right ugly. Here's somebody doing good, and somebody else that should have took part of the blessing and passed it on. See, saints, sometimes that's why our blessings dry up. Don't be so stingy. I'm not getting very far, but that's all right. And Joseph was the governor over the land. And his brothers came and they bowed down themselves before them, and with their faces to the earth. And watch this. And it says in 7, and Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, where you come from? And they said, from the land of Canaan. 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 To buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. Now remember now, these the same guys that, man, put him in a ditch. He talked too much. He's a braggart. He think he better than us. I don't know why God give him all these dreams. He don't give me none. That's sometimes folks, when folks talking about you a certain kind of way, it's like they jealous of the relationship. They can have a relationship with him too. There's enough of him to go around for all of us. But see, envy is a terrible thing. Envy is a terrible thing. And we use the term, haters, you know. Haters are everywhere. In the church, out the church. I pray ain't none of them ain't no hating going on with the Torah doers. It shouldn't be. Not if we reading it like we supposed to and trying to do it. But see, we got a lot of stuff that we got to unlearn too. Because when you find yourself getting envious about a person, come on, whatever he did for them, he'll do for you. All right, I ain't gonna get through this, but that's all right. We're gonna. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew him not. And in 9, and Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed of them. And he said unto them, ye are spies to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. In other words, the weakness. But see, they had heard, Jacob had heard, hey man, they living large down there in Egypt. And they said unto him, name our Lord. Oh my goodness, if they had known that was Joseph, they said, name our Lord. The same ones that used to smack him upside the head when their dad wasn't looking. Name our Lord. Nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. Are thy servants come? You know what that remind me of? That remind me of them saying, oh, Joseph, we just a weak worm of the dust. Have mercy on us. The same guy, oh man, you ain't nothing. You younger than I am. How dare you think you all bow down to you for what? I wish I would see myself, Bernita. I wish I would see myself bowing down to you. She know why I call her name. I love Bernita. Woo. Greg, don't be waiting on me in the parking lot. Said, nay. It said, listen to this. And they said, nay, my Lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. I see it, Reg. And then listen to what they said. We are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. Can you imagine how they would have felt if he had revealed himself to them right then and there? But Joseph was kind of, he loved his brothers, but Joseph was like, he was kind of enjoying this a little bit. And I mean, really, if somebody, well, just think about it. You don't have to agree. I'll just say for myself. I know if they had done to me what they did to him, I'm going to have some fun with it too. I still love them, but I'm going to have some fun. I mean, man, do you know what kind of hard time I had? And then you coming down here, you want some corn, and I'm governor. But remember, he had disguised himself, so they couldn't recognize him. And see, sometimes, and I'm gonna close on this. See, sometimes when folks do you dirty, you're gonna forgive them, but not today. And see, another thing we've been taught in this Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar type religion, as soon as somebody that knew better do you wrong, first thing they want to remind you of is, you got to forgive me. You got to forgive me. If you're a child of the Most High, you got to forgive me. And, you know, yeah, they're right in a way, but not today. See, sometimes, folks, when we do wrong, we need to stew for a little while. Sometimes when we've been arrogant, we need to, ooh, this don't smell so good. We need to look in that mirror and say, you know, really, I ain't all that. Why did I get so puffed up? I mean, I ain't chopped liver, but, if, you know, why was I so puffed up? I see Reds and turn the thing off. That's good. I mean, that's good. I appreciate that. His brothers still didn't know who they were dealing with. And let me say this too. His brothers were good men. They were good men. They were good men. But we good people too. But sometimes good people do bad things. And we'll get a chance to finish the rest of it, and all of it still dealing with lean times don't last forever. God bless you.